What's up, dads? Welcome back to the Fit Dad Club podcast. You are here with Jason Barrett, and today what I wanted to talk about was something really tangible and tactical to hopefully help put your mind at ease a little bit. And that is 5 things that just don't fucking matter when it comes to losing weight, when it comes to getting fit, achieving the physique that you want, achieving the health that you want. 5 things that really don't matter in the big scheme of things. Now, I'm not saying that they never matter, but I'm just saying that in the big scheme of things, these are the 20% of things that, you can focus on to get a little bit of a result. We want to focus majority of our effort on the bigger stuff, right? Making sure you're getting enough calories, making sure you're getting the right amount of protein, making sure you're training at all. Like, these are the things that actually matter. This is like the minutiae, the stuff that you shouldn't be concerning yourself about unless you're, in the deep end of a deficit and the little things make a difference and you're trying to get really, really shredded. Until that point, this stuff really just doesn't fucking matter. So before we jump into it, make sure you do subscribe, leave us a 5-star rating and review if you're enjoying the podcast. And yeah, send us a message or a DM on Instagram. Let us know if there's any topics that you would love for us to cover. But for today, what I want to talk about is these 5 things. Thing number 1 is meal timing. When you eat your meals does not fucking matter. When you eat your meals, whether you eat them at night, whether you eat them in the morning, where you eat them in the day, absolutely does not matter. Where you eat your calories does not have any impact overall on your fat loss. The only time that your meal timing will ever have an issue for you or ever cause an issue for you is if you eat a really big meal right before you go to bed. And that's not because of anything magical. It's because your body's trying to digest and it doesn't digest very well while you're lying down. It takes a lot of energy to get there. You'll get really hot. You probably won't be able to sleep and you'll have a crappy night's sleep because of it. That's the only thing. When you time your meals outside of that, unless you're doing like 2-a-day training sessions and you really need to make sure you get carbs in between those, like other than that, like this is the edge case scenarios where meal timing just absolutely does not matter. Right? Whether you eat carbs at night, whether you eat carbs in the morning, your best bet is just to be even with it across the board. But notice when you tend to get the most hungry. If you can go without breakfast, but you get hungrier in the afternoon, save some of your calories for the afternoon. It doesn't matter. If you get hungrier at nighttime, save most of your calories for nighttime. So then that way you can eat it, you can feel full, and you can ignore it when the rest of the day is going on because you're not hungry during the morning and during midday, you're more hungry in the afternoon. Cool. Focus your calories there. That'll be the best benefit for you. It's individual for everybody. Some people struggle if they don't have anything to eat in the morning. Other people are perfectly fine without it. So learn what works for you and just follow your meal timing, right? Don't think about you have to eat to... Some person said you can't eat carbs at night because then the carb boogeyman is going to turn it all into fat. It's just bullshit. So don't worry about it. Number 2 is with your training, what specific reps you do. Whether you're doing 6 reps, 8 to 10, 10 to 12, 15, 30, whatever. Like I've still seen some videos going around and these have been myths that have been going on for a while that you need to do higher rep work in order to tone, quote unquote, in order for you to gain lean muscle and to look defined. Muscle is muscle, no matter what you do, right? You're gaining muscle, it's going to be the same muscle whether you're doing 5 reps, whether you're doing 20 reps. Doing more reps, all that does is just make it harder for you to reach the point of failure and more boring and more fatiguing because you're just like, all right, I got to do fucking 20 bicep curls before I get to failure. Whereas if you increase the weight and you go for about 10, that makes it a bit easier and it means you're spending less time sitting there just pumping one dumbbell to try and get your biceps to grow. How many reps you do does not matter. If you're doing anywhere between 6 reps and 30 reps, as long as you're hitting failure, hitting the point where you can't really do another rep, that's good enough for muscle growth. So what specific reps you do are in your ball court. Unless you just don't do less than 5 and don't do more than 30. And you'll be in a prime territory for muscle growth. That's all that matters. There's no magical rep ranges. Every different exercise is going to feel better and different for different people. I think about things like a dumbbell lateral raise, right? Trying to hit 6 reps to failure on a dumbbell lateral raise where you're sticking your arms out to the side with a dumbbell is really hard because it is an exercise where your form can break down really easily. So for a lot of people, they might like going heavy on that and they feel it in their shoulders. Other people, they'll feel it in their traps and they won't really feel it in their shoulders. They might have to go lighter and do more reps. It's going to be individual. So do what, and also like everyone's going to have different things that they like. Some people like going heavier. Some people like going lighter. What specific reps you do not fucking matter. Number 3 is whether or not you eat carbs. You can go full carb free, full, keto if you want to. You can have a shit ton of carbs. As long as your protein and calories are the same, it doesn't matter. The only difference is if carbs are involved, they will give you, more often than not, a better workout. If you cut carbs out, you're going to lose a lot of weight very quickly from water weight. It's just going to flush out because your carbs do retain a lot of water. They fill your muscles back up with glycogen. That's going to shift for a couple of days, and then you're just going to gain it back on again. But the carbs are not the problem. I literally just had a comment on one of our YouTube videos where I was talking about like making eggs, and I had it on toast. He's like, oh yeah, that toast is going to be great for fat loss. I'm like, really? Like that's the hill that you want to fucking die on. That's the point that you want to make, is that toast is bad for it is, you know, an 40 to 80 calorie piece of bread, right? It's not good. It's not going to be the make or break. It's not, bread is not the devil. Pasta is not the devil. It's the cheesy, saucy, you know, fully calorie dense shit that we put on top of it. That's what causes the issues. That is what adds a lot of calories. That's what adds a lot of load to your meals. If I was to say, hey, here's a 100-gram bowl of just pasta, right? Just cooked pasta with a bit of salt in the water, you're not going to enjoy that after a couple of mouthfuls. But if I put, oh, here's some butter and cheese and tomato sauce and bacon, oh, all of a sudden it's delicious, right? It's funny how that works. Here's a dry piece of toast. Oh, it's not going to be that. Oh, here's, you know, butter and cheese and bacon. We're going to make like a little toasted sandwich out of it. Oh, all of a sudden that's delicious and I can eat a lot of it. Must be the bread. No, it's all the extra calories. So carbs, no carbs, doesn't fucking matter. Do what your preference is. If you like eating carbs, continue to eat carbs. Just manage your protein and calories. That's what matters. Number 4 is supplements. People place far too great of an importance on supplements when there's really only one main one that I recommend, which is creatine. And even that is like a couple of % increase. It's not a huge game changer difference. Anything to do with fat loss, anything that someone says is going to be a fat burner is more often than not just trying to take your money. The best fat burner is caffeine, because it keeps you awake longer. It acts as a little bit of a stimulant, so you move a bit more. You might jitter a little bit more, which does burn calories too. But most supplements are going to be completely pointless for you for fat loss. The only supplements I recommend is sometimes magnesium if people have trouble sleeping or they don't get much in or they're struggling to recover, and fish oil if you're like me and you don't really like eating fish. And even then, it's like much of a muchness, right? But supplements are not something that you need to worry yourself about. I don't really consider protein powder to be like a quote unquote supplement. I just think of it as a source of protein because I use it in a lot of my meals, right? I kind of separate that out. But again, it's still not something that you really need to care about. As long as you get one that's low enough in carbs and low enough in fat, cool, happy days, right? You're going to be golden. And then finally, number 5, the thing that you do not need to worry about, that does not fucking matter, is one bad day. One bad day in the scheme of your fat loss plan does not matter. One bad day has no impact on your overall results. The problem is if one bad day leads to 2 bad days, leads to 3 bad days, leads to a snowball of you going off the rails. That's not what we want. One bad day, one bad meal is not the make or break, is not the be all and end all. So don't throw away your progress just because of one bad day. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater just because you had a bit of extra, a couple of extra drinks and a couple of extra slices of pizza. We wake up the next morning, we don't miss twice, we get back on the wagon straight away. That is all that matters. This does not make a difference. One bad day in the grand scheme of things does not make a difference. If you're constantly having them, that's a different story. One bad day here and there, one day where you're off track, I just think of it as a refeed and then we keep going. Right? So these are 5 things that you do not need to stress yourself about. That the minutiae of it does not matter in the grand scheme of things until you have everything else sorted, until you have consistent training schedule, consistent steps, consistent calorie and protein intake, and you're consistently losing weight, and then you want to optimize, hey, there's some things that you can do, but timing of your meals, whether or not you eat carbs, what reps you do, what supplements you take, and having one bad day here and there, those are 5 things that I really want you to stop fucking worrying about. Stop concerning yourself about, stop spending time and money or energy on those things, and just focus on the main stuff that will get you the result. That's it for this week. I hope you got something out of this podcast. I hope it helps you stop doing something or stop focusing on something. And I'll see you all next week.